Real Talk with Carl and Charlene. Real talk for the real world. Let's get it. Real Talk with Carl and Charlene. Real talk for the real world. Let's get it.
Good morning, people. What's going on? Welcome to another fly edition of Real Talk with Carl and Charlene. It is Thursday, and the week, of course, is going by so fast. Actually, we getting ready to go in month number 5 for this beautiful year, and time is passing by. And man, I don't even know what to do. I know it's cold in New Jersey. Yes, it is cold. It's like March here. I don't know. It's 30 something degrees. You see me in my sweater today, and I can't understand why the summer hasn't started to visit us. But anyway, that's something for another day. Thank you guys for tuning in. Those who are tuning in live, please drop in the comments where you tuning in from. Let us know where you're coming in from. Drop your thoughts, your comments in there, your questions as well, because I know you guys saw the subject and the topic today, the secret of believing bigger. We're going to go into it, and we're going to digest this, and you're going to get some information today that I am absolutely sure you're going to want to need. Those who are checking us out, hashtag replay. You also drop in the comments where you're tuning in from. Let us know your thoughts and put them in the comments as well. We do go back. We do check it out. This is a global show, so we want to welcome everybody from around the world. But of course, you guys know I can't do this by myself. I refuse to do it by myself. I had too much fun doing it with my partner in crime, so to speak, my hostess with the mostest. Come on, Charlene, join me this morning. What's up?
What's going on? Good morning.
Good morning. What's up? I was in the lovely confines of Fredericksburg, Virginia on Tuesday. So I'm back at home, my confines, my fresh condo, you know what I mean, behind me there. So I'm back at home, and it's good.
Well
It's
lit.
good,
Well
Yeah,
lit.
well lit. Yeah, because I was like, I ain't send a shout out to Hilton, but I stayed at y'all hotel, y'all conference room. The rooms was beautiful. The rooms was nice. But that conference room, it's made for sleeping because they had them low lit, dim lights in there. I don't think nobody paying attention if they have anything in there. I just want to send that out. So my light was a little dark. I was like, woo, I'm kind of dark on camera. Woo, and the sun
Lord.
ain't even shining yet. So I had to get my lightness on. But enough of that foolishness. What's going on with you? What's going on, homie? How you be?
And good things, good things. I hear an echo. My bad. I don't know what that is. But
Yeah.
okay, it's gone now. Okay.
No,
So
all right.
so yeah, I'm on the final stages of pushing out one of my projects for a client. So I'm excited about that. I'm just gonna
Awesome.
say one more time, please don't go to GoDaddy, y'all. Please don't.
Yo,
Please don't go to
daddy.
GoDaddy, Lord. And for the Lord, please hear, I want you to, if anything you set on
Oh
fire,
wow.
Lord, please let
Oh
it be
wow.
managed WordPress.
Wow.
Just set it
We got some
ablaze,
love for
Jesus. Thank you.
fires.
Cleanse it out, Lord. Because managed WordPress, I have no time for it. Please, thank
Oh
you.
man,
And
we got
always
some
answering my
corrupt
prayers.
prayers
Thank you
today.
so much. But yes, other than that, it's a good time. It's a lot of things happening, professionally, personally. So I'm excited, and I also wanted to say, because I keep forgetting, to thank live, because I was thinking on the back end, all those who gave me so many birthday wishes. I was surprised too. It was a
Yes,
ton
yes,
on LinkedIn. I was like, whoa, what's happening? I was like, oh, thank
yes,
you.
yes.
Facebook, I have not tapped into y'all yet, only because I have not added it to my new phone. So I have not done anything over there. So that's why I have not logged in. It's a little bit
Oh,
of peace and quiet. Because I know once I log in, my phone just keeps blowing up. So I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna need a break. So I will go over there. But yes, thank you to everybody, especially the phone
yes, a
callers. I
happy
loved it.
belated birthday. I had a lot of things going on this weekend, but that was still not excuse my manners. My mama would not be proud. Happy belated birthday to my homie. I hope
Thank
you enjoyed
you.
it. Had a great time. Hope you and Shadow hollered out, shout out some fish and shrimp. You guys spent enough
Yes, because fish and
was
shrimp,
it
he
good?
was hugging up. We cuddled. It was a good day. It was a good day. It was a good day.
Oh man, it was a good day. Thank
Oh
you
my
all for
god.
my peeps showing up. Thank you all, Quentin, man, checking in, tuning in from us out there. Houston, we got
Yes.
Houston in the house, New Jersey in the house. We got Maryland in the house. What's going on, Shannon and Shree? Rob, what's going on? Rob, I'm still not aware of your location because you never put it in the chat. You don't pay attention to the rules. You have to put it in there, bro. But we appreciate you coming by and helping us out this morning, guys. And we're talking about the secret to believing bigger, right? When you think about that, what Charlene, what do you think about when you hear that topic? When you hear what we're talking about today, the secrets of
Well,
believing bigger.
well, especially after talking to you last night, 'cause I was like, "What is it that you had in mind?" Because I need to tap into your brain cells for a second.
Mhm.
Because because my partner he writes up a lot of the stuff, so I'm like, I need to tap in a little deeper. What exactly are we talking about? And so after he really broke it down to me, and really introduced me to Christine, I was like, okay, I could see this. So from our conversation, I see believing bigger is like, that there's always that deeper instinct inside of you, that it doesn't always come from a human realm. Sometimes you have to just dig deeper and believe beyond what you can do in your capabilities. So there's always someone, and I always say a higher being, a universal spirit that is there pushing things along. And we always hear, like, your life is already mapped out, but you have choices. Are you going to take that road that might be mapped out already, or are you going to switch? But then the higher being knows all, sees all, and it's just waiting to see you make a decision. And I always go back to the story of, I want to say, Job, where I always say in my mind, him and God and the devil, Satan, were playing chess and seeing how he was making moves, and they were making a bet, like, is he going to do this? Is he going to come towards what I'm saying? So it was really a game of, let's see what you're going to do. So that's how I believe in this is all about believing bigger. How are you making your dreams? How are you making everything that you're striving for come true without you stumbling and then allowing those roadblocks to stop you, or going down the easier path that may not be where you should go? So it's really about knowing that there's a bigger vision for you, and you should be following that vision. You can allow that to come true. And sometimes we like to throw a little extra in there, take a little side turn and be like, let me see what's down this way, and then realize, okay, that's not for me, and then go back on the path that you think you should be on. But a lot of times it's the path that's guiding you, because that's something else that we have to look at. And we talked about this a lot of times. You see around you, a lot of times there are things in your path that you prayed for, but you didn't realize it would come true in that manner. So are you going to just allow your insides to lead you into that and trust that? Or are you going to keep doubting it, and now you're not doing anything, or you're doing the wrong things? So yeah, all that to say, yes, that's what I get it from it.
Yeah, that's a lot because it truly what it is, and me being the word guy, right? It's just literally what it's saying, and the aspect of that is it's so plain, but a lot of that is the faith drivenness of what that means, believing bigger. I often go back to the times of as a kid, as a child, and when your mom and your dad tell you can be anything, right? That's the aspirations of just dreaming big, believing big. But I think it's a lot of times those are put on us to like dream those things. But how many times do we let that manifest? And it's amazing that you talk about the book of Job, because a lot of that was that, even though everything he was going on that was going on with them, there was a belief there that something bigger was there. And I think if we take those onto ourselves, they start to manifest themselves and actually being realities. When we're believing that things that we're doing are bigger, driven by faith, they become bigger. Now, we have a lot of times as humans, we try to put timetables on that. Well, I need that bigger at about 12 noon. Oh, I need that bigger by 2 weeks. we put that on there, but I mean, like the old church people used to say, God is not late. He don't show up when you want him, but he show up always on time. That's in the essence of that. Even in believing bigger, there's a time and a place and a season for that bigger to become, even in the midst of it. I know we've talked about that a lot, not necessarily using those terms, but we just talk about manifesting our businesses and how patience plays into that believing. Understanding that at points in times when you want things to be, you may not even be prepared to handle. When you want things to be like I want this, and then it comes and the gate is come and you can't even fulfill what's needed. So a lot of times in believing bigger, there's a process that take place. I oftentimes talk about this to my clients and potential clients. Believe in the journey because the journey is teaching, the journey is preparing, the journey is gathering. There's a lot going on in that journey that really prepares you for the destiny because a lot of times we want to just have it right there. We just turn around and the yacht be there or the Benz be there or whatever it is. I just named those things, but we want those things to be right there, but are we really prepared, to jump on those things? But we got somebody, y'all. If y'all haven't checked this out, check out her 6 a.m. I know some of y'all be snoring. The West Coast people, that's about 3 in the morning for y'all. But I'll tell you, it is worth getting up. Now, like Ja Rule, all right, Rob, I feel you, man. I feel you. It's like worth. I got my man Giannis in the building. Appreciate you, Giannis, all the way from Greece. Tuning in. We're gonna have to go see Giannis out there, lay up on the beach with the clean water. We got to go
I'm
check you
down.
out.
My bags are packed.
I'm down for you. Yeah, we,
I keep my
we're gonna
passport
have to road,
updated.
yeah, we're gonna have to do a road trip, Giannis. We're gonna have to get on out there to Greece, my friend. Thank you for
Did you say road
in.
trip?
Yeah, road trip. We gotta do a road trip. I just came off the road, but we gotta do another road. We gotta do another what they call a vacation road trip. There's one vacation I was just on. So we gotta do a vacation road trip so we could go and check out some more parts of the world. But without any further ado, we're gonna bring her to the show because she is going to tell you what it is, the secret to believing bigger. What's up, Christina?
Yes, come on. Good
Come on in, come
morning.
on in. Christina
Hey,
talked about me. I was in her neck of the woods, and she said I ain't stopping her or nothing. Just came on back to her after the fact.
We know Carl's
yeah,
okey doke. We caught
that's
on. We
why,
caught
yeah,
on.
that's why when y'all ain't see my face when I was backstage, but when he talking about he gonna visit Greece, I was like, mm-hmm.
Okay. So Giannis, don't listen to nothing until Carl texts you where he at.
Yeah,
Oh wow.
yeah. Now me on the other hand, I know you know, Giannis, you don't know me, but hey, I want to go to Greece.
Okay. Giannis gonna have a whole bunch of folks texting
Yeah,
him.
y'all.
We're
Hey,
here.
look, we
We're at
all
the
get
Yes,
airport.
we got it. Angelique say road trip. So we ready, Angelique. Real talk live takes Greece.
Oh,
Man, I'm
come
feeling
on
that. Man,
now.
I'm feeling that, man. I'm feeling that, Giannis. I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it.
yeah. We need to make
So
that
what's
happen.
Yeah. So what's
Yes.
up, Christina? Tell the people a little bit about you and dive into some of that believing bigger. Because I know you got that on your LinkedIn profile and it's
Yes,
optimized on there. And
yes.
tell us a little bit about you. And also tell us a little bit about because Shawn, she got a bunch of titles. I'm gonna let her tell it, but she doing her thing. But tell us a little bit about that believing bigger and how you even came up with that concept.
So, one of the big things that has been on my, I don't even know if you say on my heart, in my brain, just
Mhm.
my ever being, right? Since I was in, I think I started asking people around elementary school. Like I would just ask people, you know, older people, hey, do you think that you're living in your purpose? You think
Mm.
you are you're doing the things that you're supposed to be doing that God is calling you to do. And what surprised me was the fact that I never got a yes. And
Wow.
I would sit there and look, I'm in elementary school. I'm sitting here like, look, y'all grown people. How in the world are you not doing what you want to do? You can.
Mm.
Like nobody's telling you to do something. Nobody's keeping you from doing it. Like why aren't you doing it? And the things that I would be getting is, oh, I got kids to feed. I got a job. I don't want to. I don't know about leaving it. I have a mortgage. Sorry, y'all. Man, everybody want to call me today. Goodness gracious. But I have a mortgage. I have this. I have that. And I'm like, what does that have to do with anything? If you're saying that you want to do something and that's something that God is laying on your heart, then why aren't you just doing it? So I never understood that while I was younger. And then as I got older, I got it. I was like, okay, I understand why people are saying these things, because you get wrapped up in the things that you're doing and the things that you have to do and your family has to eat. And what if you lose your house? What if you're not able to afford allowing your kids to go to college? And these things start breaking down that belief that you once had when you were a child. Because when we're children, honey, I got a 3-year-old. Well, now, I'm sorry, they just had a birthday. So I have a 4-year-old, newly 4-year-old, a 6-year-old, and a 10-month-old. My 6-year-old is starting to, now she's getting to the point where she's not as open. So we're trying to open it up. They get to that point where they're starting to be realists. But my son, my 4-year-old, you can't tell him anything. You can't tell him he's not Spider-Man. I mean, you can't tell him when he's doing his karate moves, he ain't on, he ain't no Jedi master. And you're sitting there looking like, I don't know, maybe we should pick something different. But he is all in, and it's just the capacity that children have that we lose as adults. And I see that. So my thing was, look, I'm bringing this back. We got to open up our belief system, because what I realized going through this journey is that the only person that holds us back is us. It's nobody else. I know we like to blame other things, our boss, our parents, the stuff that we suffered, the trauma that we went through. All that stuff is real. All that stuff is true. And like I always encourage, get in the fields, understand why you're feeling the way that you're feeling. But we cannot allow that to hold us back. We can't allow that to determine and dictate our future. A lot of times we're living in the past. We're sitting here driving and looking in the rearview mirror. What would happen if you did that in real life? How long would it take for you to crash? I'm sitting here, I'm not paying attention. I'm looking in the back. I would continue crashing the amount of times that I step in and I look in my rearview mirror. Every single time I would crash. And we're doing that on a daily basis in our lives. We are sitting there looking in the past, and then we wonder why we're crashing every 5 seconds and why we're getting more of the same thing when we're trying to run away from our past. But I'm like, the way that we look at things is extremely important. So that's why I am adamant about instilling belief and faith and trust. And the journey, as you talked about, it is a process. It is a process. And anything that's going through process, what are we being refined? There are things that are happening. Sometimes you're getting your feet on the fire. I mean, that's just what it is. Think about what diamonds have to go through. Think about what gold has to go through. I'm trying to be pure gold. I'm trying to be shining like a diamond. So if I'm asking for that, I've got to be prepared to go through the process. So I just keep it real about the process, about the journey. But in that, I want everybody to believe bigger. So that's my big thing.
Man, you said a word there. We're gonna put the Cash App link in the comments. Make sure y'all see the Cash App. We gonna pass the plate like we used to do. Now you said a whole word there. You really said a whole word there. And I'm seeing the comments blowing up. And Angelique say she was just talking about this yesterday in regards to fear, and it has encapsulated us. I think I saw Carla early talking about that vulnerability piece where we were as a child. Now you were saying, and you just put a great example out there, how your 6-year-old is starting to formulate that close offness that automatically comes, and it takes work to fight against in the essence of it once we start growing, because we have so many things that place us in that bubble of protection. If it's not just beginning with the parents, it's beginning from the everyday cares of life that we see we don't want to harm us. And this is what people have gravitated to, but we've got to get back to that. And I think to some extent, we have come to that place with the pandemic. Sometimes it takes things of that nature to get attention, right? Yeah. And to reformulate and refocus our priorities. And I think that it did that. It really gave us back to the beginning of, okay, how was we reacting as humans? Did we always sit at the dinner table with everybody on their phone? did we all? I mean, when I was growing up, this is like it was conversation time at the dinner table, and
Yeah.
you talked about the things that happened, whether it was at school, or the parents shared kind of things that they could share or would like to share that happened to them at work. And there was a
Mhm.
time, a congregation of where we talked, and we lost that. I was just talking to my aunt the other day, and she's
Yeah.
talking about her daughter. And I was like, is the iPad, is the computer raising your child or are you raising it? Like, it just hit me like, because she was just saying all the things and it was just nothing was with her. Everything was like, I
Mhm.
had to make sure her stuff was charged up, had to make sure her
Mhm.
phone didn't die. And I just had this
Yeah.
conversation. I was like, well, are you the mama or is the kid, the iPad, the mama? Which one is the
Yeah.
mama? So you're
Yeah.
saying a lot of things at that, and you're bringing it back right to the wholeheartedness of who we are as people. That bigger struck me because it's so much involved in that we are. I think about what the Bible said. We're more than conquerors, and we take that
Yeah.
lightly. We
Yeah.
don't really believe in that. I know we read it, we see it, but we don't believe in that. And I think this is what really breaks up the walls for us. How did you come about just really believing that? Like taking that on and say, this is real, at least for me, and I'm going to show people that it is.
So I got tired of repeating the same cycle. So exactly what I said is what I say things because either I witnessed them or
Mhm.
I've personally gone through them. More likely than not, I've gone through it. So I've seen that happen. I see how quickly you can fall into that. And I mean, it's that's almost like the default. And so that is one thing. And I like how you talked about the pandemic and how that brought about, it brought about change for some. For some, it did not. What it did bring about is awareness, right?
Mhm.
So we were like it was in our face of the things that weren't working for us, the things that need to be changed. Okay, just like you said, the dinner table. I mean, one of the things, and I'm laughing because it happened to us. I sat there. I just decided to do something different, right? So I started asking my family, like, what would make you happy today?
Mhm.
What would make you happy today? So I'd ask my husband, I would ask my kids, and then I would ask myself. And one of the things that my daughter said was like, if we eat together. I'm like, what?
Wow.
And so when we did that, I tell you, I was like, man, I, I, I was hurting. But when we sat down, she was like, all excited, right? She's just looking around. She's like, is it Christmas? And I was
Wow.
like, what? Wait, what? And she's like, well, we are. And she was like, our Thanksgiving. She was like, and then everybody's here, but nobody else is here but us. So, and I was like, no, baby, you asked for us to sit together. And she was like, yeah. Oh, she was like, oh, this is so much fun. So can we talk about our day? And I'm
Wow.
like, okay, we need to do this.
Yeah.
But that brought, and that's the thing, it brings awareness to what is going on and what it is that is slipping past, right? But it is our choice to make that decision of I am going to now change this. The awareness is one thing. That's the basis of everything. Everybody, and first of all, I'm going to tell you, a lot of people aren't on the awareness train either.
No.
So 2020 happened, the height of the pandemic, and people were just like, God, dog, I'm about to lose my job. Oh my gosh. They're focused on the bad things that are happening. They're focused on all this stuff that's crumbling down, and they totally miss the lessons. So
Mhm.
there are people that haven't gotten on that train. So once you get on the awareness train, okay, now I'm focused on, okay, what can I learn more so than why is this happening to me? We gotta learn how to ask the right questions to
Yeah.
get to the real problem of the matter. A lot of us are asking questions that place blame. So
Mhm.
even when we're talking about the past and living in the past, another way that you can do that is sit there when things happen. What did I do to deserve this? Why is this happening to me? Where did I go wrong? Those are all the wrong questions. You're asking something because let's think about it. If God said, you know what, you should have answered the phone call. That's what you did wrong. What would you be thinking about? Now you're going to go back to saying, God, dog, why didn't I answer that phone call? If only I answered that phone call, I would have been here. If only I did this, I would have done this, and this would have happened. And then what are we doing? We're playing in the past again. Those are the wrong questions. When we're talking about blame, that place is blame, that place is condemnation, that place is shame. Those are not the right questions. What does the Bible say? No condemnation, right?
No
We got to
condemnation.
think about that when we open our mouth.
That's
So yes. So when we're asked, when we face different things, it's not what did I do to deserve this? Why is this happening to me? How can this be? Oh my gosh, if it's not one thing, it's another. It's what can I learn from this? Because now you think about it, if you get the answer, what can I learn from this? If God says, you know what, I need you to trust me more, what are you going to do? You're going to take that lesson, you're going to apply it going forward, not looking back. You're going to say, okay, I need to trust you more. How can I do that? Okay, all right, I need to spend more time with you. I need to be still. I need to take some time out of my day, whatever it may be. But you are applying those lessons going forward. So it's a lot of stuff that is in movement of why this whole believe bigger and because it is big, and it's not just okay, I'm believing bigger as far as, oh, I've got these huge goals. I want to be a millionaire. I want to have a big house. I want to have a nice car. I want to have this. That's all good. That's great. But you got to understand, my big thing is, look, it's bigger than you right now. You do not have these things because you aren't that person. It's not the fact that, oh my gosh, I just didn't hit the lottery yet. No, honey, you are not $1 million person. You aren't a big house person. You aren't a mansion person. You aren't a person who has that spouse that you've been asking for. You are not that person yet. So now, instead of focusing on the fact that I don't have these things, instead of focusing on the fact that I want these things and that isn't brought into my reality right now, focus on the person that you need to be able to attract those things and understand that it's bigger than you. And in order for you to do that, you've got to expand your mind. And I love that somebody said growth mindset. You have to have a growth mindset. You have to believe bigger to attract bigger. So that's where it came from.
Oh, well, give me a couple of seconds. I got to dance.
I'm sorry.
Let me get my shout on, because when I go to church for a reason, child. I got to feel God. I got to feel him. So let me get my shout on. I had to push my chair back so I give me a little dancing. You know what I'm saying? Look, because you hitting on some stuff, man. I'm talking about. I'm excited. I'm excited. Y'all can't see the excitement that I have, but you hitting on some things that is so relevant to us growing as people. You just talk about just not even so much as in the actual believing, but because you tell people a lot of that. Because I was always wondering. I said, when people say, "Oh God, why me?" I say, "Why not me? What makes me different?"
Right.
What makes me different? I've always saw it from that aspect. I may waddle in it because I'm human. It hurts. I don't like it. I got to go through it. I hit that, but then I'm like, okay, well, what makes me different? And actually, as I started the spiritual part of this growing, God, I appreciate you even choosing me, because it's billions of people, and like you're trusting me to go through this and trust you. So I must be something special to you. So I started taking it on to that. But you said a lot, man. You said a mouthful there in the essence of that. And that pandemic really shifted for me. It didn't really take that, because me and God, we had a lovely relationship. I do what I do with him. I love him with all my heart. But you can get preoccupied with cares of this life. You can. And in the essence of that, you mentioned a whole lot of things, especially the daughter, how that excitement. A lot of people, I was running around with a lot of people. I'm like, okay, I can reprioritize to get my family unit back and get that time of eating in a car, going from practice to practice. Nobody's at home. I said, what can I do to change that? I had people in my same circle was mad. They wanted to get back to 2019. And I'm like, I want to get back to normal. And I would bring up points to say, what was normal about you working 60-hour weeks, never went to none of your kids' things, eating in the car, you guys never sat at the table. I would bring it up to some of my coworkers. I was like, what was normal about that?
Yeah.
And they was like, well, that's how life was. I was like, but you got opportunity to take life and be as life is. And you're
Yeah.
missing that part, man. I'm telling you, you're hitting on something there. Go ahead, Charlene, before I take over the show. Go ahead.
Yeah, because I even well, I told you today was your day. This your day because the spiritual and the belief sector and the faith sector, that's always Mr. Reverend vulnerability. But what I always do notice, and I've noticed it even as we started 2022, people are now shifting back into the fill your calendar
Yeah.
space, and I have to really fight to be like, no, I don't want to go to no events on the weekends because I want my weekends. And it's hard because one more time, you don't want to feel like you're missing out or you're not doing what you should to get to where you need to be. But if I put in place, this is where I need to be so I can be at my optimal, I'm trying hard not to allow the outside world to influence that. And the next thing you know, I'm burnt out. And then those same people burning me out or helping me burn myself out are like, oh, well, why aren't you taking time off? I'm like,
Yeah.
really? So
Yeah.
it's that battle of not going back to 2019, not going back to early 2020, but embracing all that we have learned.
Mm-hmm.
Because just like you said, to sit down and just hear peace or just speak to the people in your household and learn, what did you go through today? What's going on? A lot of times that's all people really want, is someone to hear them out.
Yeah.
No feedback, just hear them out. And I think because everybody's trying to get back to quote unquote normal or get a jump start on whatever it is, without paying attention to it, they're filling up
Yeah.
calendars.
Yeah.
And it becomes overwhelming. It's already like Carl said, we're entering month 5. And to tell you the amount of events that I had to like block out my calendar, it's ridiculous. It's
Yeah.
ridiculous. So I can definitely stay to the point of, we need to not ignore what we've learned the last 2 years to try and get back to something that we think is normal.
Yeah.
And that, because that alone taught me a world of difference on how I want to live my life. And my life, I want to be able to say, I'm leaving on Friday to go see Giannis in Greece. I'll log back in on Tuesday. Have a good one.
Yeah.
You see what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Like, I
Yeah.
want to be able to travel. And a lot of times we can't travel on a Monday, come back a Tuesday morning, and then be up and running on a Wednesday. Because especially when you want to do those long-term traveling, I don't want to wait till I'm retired to do
Yeah, I'm
travel
70 and I
travel.
can't make it nowhere, and I'm retired. You said something
Okay.
that my mom used to say that. I just want to, because you were talking about that. I want to hit this while we talking about that. My mom had this thing when we was growing up, and it bugged me to no end. We would not go out to eat till Friday,
Mm-hmm.
right? That was like the mantra of the house. In other words, with no spending. We black folks, we know what Friday is. Friday's payday, right? So you trying to
Yeah.
tell me there's nothing I can do until I get paid? That's what that
Mm-hmm.
told me all my life as a kid. That we
Mm-hmm.
can't do. I had friends, and I grew up in a predominantly, I mean, it was a horrible neighborhood, but it was a lot of whites and Hispanics in my neighborhood. And they was going out to eat Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Like I go over their house, wasn't nobody cooking. They was going out to eat. And it's just something that's small just plays so psychological in the mind of our household. And I just told her that a couple of years ago. I was like, you know how strong that was? I even raised my kids for the first few years of my life. We didn't do anything till the weekend. Now,
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
how crazy is that? And that's the kind of thing that we take from generation to generation by not cutting the umbilical cord on it. And I was like, wow, what was the reason that we didn't go to McDonald's or Wendy's or nothing until it was Friday? What did that
Right.
mean? Like, what did that mean? Psychologically, it meant a lot because it kept us in ground of saying that when I started thinking about it, it's like, oh, okay, we don't have no money. We get paid on Friday. I started putting them dots together. Then I started taking my kids, let's go Monday. This is how we went sometimes to the music parks Tuesdays and Thursdays in the middle of the week just to break
And
those
those are the
type of
best
cycles.
times to go.
Actually,
Those are
yeah,
the
because
best times to go.
we ain't
Yeah.
have to wait no lines.
No lines. A lot of
Yeah.
times and I don't know how it is right now because, through pandemic, everybody started shifting because they realized, oh, wait a minute, we can make money on these days. But at those times, in the middle of the week was the best time to travel because most people weren't traveling. They were waiting for the weekends to travel.
Mhm.
Go out and get those dinner deals or those event deals if you want to go to entertainment. Those were the best times. So it's really learning how not to go with the flow of everybody else. Find where you are, find where you resonate, and where you can really blossom and enjoy, because it may not be on someone else's clock.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
just where I'm learning.
Yeah. I want to highlight one thing that you said, Mr. Carl.
Yes, go ahead.
So you were talking about the generational things, and
Hmm.
this is how the generational cycles happen. And y'all know, y'all seen it everywhere, right? Breaking generational curses. Like everybody's on that mission right now, which is cool. We should be. However, a lot of times what I see is it's focused on money. I'm going to be the first millionaire in my family. I'm going to be the one who's buying my mama house. I'm going to be the one that's investing in real estate so that I can leave something for my kids. That generational legacy will live on. I mean, that will live on beyond me, which is cool. That should live on. You should be leaving, an inheritance for your kids. It even says that in the Bible. Like, come on now.
Yes.
We need to do that. However, understanding that our legacy is more than just our money.
Monetary. Yeah.
It's our name. And then and also that the generational curses that continue are the things that they're up here. The things that have been programmed in us that no longer serve us. I just talked about this on Wednesday, of just really going through and understanding. I know sometimes it's hard to face it. I know how sometimes it's hard to admit it, but going through and sifting through and seeing what does not serve you anymore. What things are you keeping on that you're thinking they still have life in them, but they dead and they ain't working. But we holding it on. We just carrying dead weight. Just like maybe I'll revive it. Maybe someday. And we're taking into our families these same habits, the same things that we didn't like before when we were kids. And then we're like, well, we're so accustomed to doing these things. I read something yesterday. I'm reading this book, and it was about a husband and a wife, right? And so this lady would fix like a pot roast, right? And so she would always cut off the two ends of it, like big chunks of meat, and then
Yeah.
just throw them away, and then put it in there. And then so the husband just look, why do you keep doing that? We spending money. Like, why you do that? It's like a reason why you do that. She's like, well, my mom always did it. And he's like, oh, okay, well, it must be something to the season. I don't know, but okay, keep doing what you're doing. And then he just asked the mom, like, hey, why did you cut off the ends of that? I'm just trying to figure it out. And she's like, oh, because my pot wasn't big enough. And homegirl, and he's like, what? So the wife had a pot that was 2 times bigger than her mom's. It could fit the whole thing, but because she just readily adapted to what it was that her mom did not ask questions, didn't get to the root of the problem. We just took it for face value, and now I'm applying it in my life, even though when I dig down, it don't make sense.
Not at all.
It's actually costing us money. And we've got to understand that the decisions that we are making cost us money. The dead weight that you are carrying is costing you and your family money. It is costing you your life. The fullness that God has for all of us to be living. I tell you, He wants abundance for you. Every single thing that you are desiring, you're desiring it for a reason. It was placed there. You didn't just wake up one day and was just like, you know what, I want to be this. All of a sudden, no. It's there because it is possible for you, but the things that it's gonna require you to start cutting the dead weight because it's costing you your life. So that's what I want people to understand.
Yes.
When we're talking about breaking generational curses, it don't start and it doesn't end with money. It's here. Before you even get the money, you got to start doing this. You got to start focusing on what it is that you're operating on. Start looking at yourself on a daily basis, the things that you're doing, the things that you're saying. Why do you believe what you believe? A lot of us have beliefs that we're holding tight to that when you really question it, you don't actually believe it. You don't find that as true. So
That's what
why
mama them said.
Exactly. Why are you carrying that around? Especially when it comes to ourselves. A lot of people, oh, I'm not worthy. I'm not enough. Oh, I don't know if I can do this. I don't know. Okay, why? This is the magic question for me is always going to be why. It is and it will always be. That is how you continue to dig deeper if you keep asking yourself why? Why? And then you start getting back to, oh, well, because my cousin said this, and they always measured me to this other cousin that always did good, and I never felt good enough. Oh, okay. Well, do you believe it? No, I don't. Do you want to believe it? No, I don't. So, how can we now replace that thought and replace that belief with something that serves you? These are the hard things. These are the things that we've got to do. And this is the actual work. And that's one of the things that the pandemic has taught me, and mine started a little bit before the pandemic, but it really brought to my awareness of like everything that needs to be done. And just like Charlene highlighted as us going back to normal, right? Some people are going back to normal and filling up their calendars, but those are the people that missed the mark. They didn't realize in that time, in that point of stillness, that we create our normal. We create
Yes.
our realities. So there's no going back to anything. It's if you want to go back to it, then go back to it. If you do not, then you make that decision and I'm not going back to it. But you've also got to realize, and for me, it was where that stillness did not come natural. I am a busy person. Like I like to work and I work and I work, and that's something that makes me feel good because I was struggling with enough, being enough. So I always felt when I was a kid like I had to do extra. Like, oh, look at me. I did this. Oh man, I'm getting all these achievements. I went to law school, right? Oh, I passed the bar, whatever it may be. And I felt that that was the thing that made me worthy. So I I was working. I was working and I was trying to get as much money as I could. And then the pandemic came and just shut everything down, right? And but right before that, I had been called to just be still. I need you to shut everything. I had to shut everything down before the pandemic hit. It was in November 2019. Shut it down. And one of the things that people may have struggled with and still struggle with, even though they don't want to go back to what was normal, is the fact that when I'm still, I'm anxious because I don't feel like I'm doing enough. I don't feel like I am being productive. I don't feel like I'm actually doing the work that's going to get me to where I want to get. But I want people that are feeling that way to understand that the actual work is internal work. That physical work, honey, anybody can do that. Like, look, it ain't a question about your work ethic, okay? If it's making you anxious from sitting down, it's not because your work ethic, okay? You are doing enough. But you now have to focus that inside and figure out, okay, what's the internal work that I need to do? Because why am I feeling anxious? Because I'm not moving. Why am I not? One, you're not trusting. You're not having faith. You need to up your faith and belief. You need, like, those are the things that if we allow our emotions to sit there and guide us, that's what we have them for. They are guideposts saying, hey, something is wrong here. Hey, this is a red light. Hey, look at me. I'm bright. I'm bright. Come on, look at me, because you need to look at it and deal with those things. A lot of us, we will feel that anxiety and then we're brushing it up under because it doesn't feel good. So it doesn't feel good. So I'm going to run away from it because I don't want it. I don't know why this is happening to me. Like I wish this wouldn't happen. Like we're gonna wish it away. I wish this wouldn't happen. Why am I like this? What, again, asking the wrong questions. So leaning into our feelings, leaning into our emotions, allowing it to guide us to where it is that we need to go and what we need to do. This is all the work to break those generational curses. You do that work, honey, the money gonna be flowing to you like nobody's business. Don't focus on the money. Focus on you.
Yeah, because what you spoke about, that mindset, especially in a
Yeah.
generational mindset. And what came to my mind was all those times when you hear people, especially in families, there's those family secrets or there's things
Mhm.
going on that you can't question because people just shut you down. So then you can't even break a generational curse because you're in this trained atmosphere of not questioning, not digging deeper. So
Oh yeah.
that work
Oh yeah.
Sometimes that work is not even just an individual work that has to be done. It's a family type situation
Yeah.
where you have to break that mentality of not questioning
Yeah.
each other and
Yeah.
not calling each other to the carpet when you're messing up.
Yeah.
Because when one messes up, it's that way in life. If one person messes up, if one culture, one society messes up, it has a ripple effect.
Yeah.
We always think of our own bubble. And when we really pay attention, even when throughout history, when you look at history, look at certain years, certain dates, and then start to look at all the different aspects around the world, you're going to start seeing little things are pieced together because there was a ripple effect. But
Hmm.
people don't want to piece those together because they're like, oh no, that happened over there. No, that
Yeah.
happened over there. But then start looking at the people involved, and then you see people were traveling there. There's little instigators and all that kind of thing going on through life. So
Yeah.
even in family, when something is not going right, you need to start looking at those factors.
Hmm.
Who is always around? Why is this always happening? Is there something that we can change as a family? Because
Hmm.
sometimes it's not just an individual thing. Can the family make a change and then start moving forward? Because especially if you are a unit that can question each other, and not in the sense that you're grilling each other, but you're questioning each other so you can improve and do better.
Hmm.
So the next generation behind you can see you as adults and say, oh, okay, that's how we work as family. Yeah, I don't like what you did, cuz, or I don't like what you did, sister, brother, whatever. But you know I love you enough to call you on the carpet and keep it moving. That's
Yeah.
the
We,
kind of
we do the
thing we need to be working on.
Yeah, we do a lot of tiptoeing. We do a lot of tiptoeing now, and that's systematically what it's been. And I used to
Mhm.
for the longest time until the pandemic actually having these conversations with other races, other ethnicities. A lot of times we think we've owned this, us being minorities, African Americans. A lot of these systems. I've talked to some Chinese people. I've talked to some Filipino. I talked to just some different ethnicities, and they parallel the same things in their families that I was going through in mine. So a lot of times we sit in this. That's why I'm so heavy on the vulnerability piece. A lot of times we sit in these things as if it's just us, and
Hmm.
it's really not. So when you're sharing these things, you're really educating or confirming or drawing attention and awareness to on the outside of what's happening on the inside. And we look at these things, we tiptoe it. The Bible even say, you got to alt with your brother, go to him.
Yeah.
We have not played that part at all, and it's systematically from families. All of us can probably heard what goes on in this house stays in this house. It starts with that.
Child.
You
Mhm.
you can't tell nobody that's our problem. That's a family issue. We talk about that. Then we have this notion of, if I tell you the truth, I got to worry about your feelings. Now, don't get me wrong, we're not out here to hurt, but I mean, I think those are some of the guidelines of which we brush off that causes so many issues. We don't tell. I told my kids from the door, if someone does something to you that you don't like, say something about it. Then
Yeah.
do
Hmm.
not let it go past that. Do not. I say now the only thing that you can be doing that with that, and which I'm going to teach you, that articulating in a way that it's not offensive to the individual.
Yeah.
But you definitely, as long as you got a mouth, let them know what they did. You do not like, do not stand for it, and don't do it again. Now figure out how to tactfulness you're going to say that, but I bet not have that come back to me and you didn't address that. And I put that in there for the simple fact that a lot of things I wasn't able to address. For the simple fact that my parents said, "Okay, this stay here. This don't go nowhere. Don't talk to nobody about this." I'm saying painful things, things that should have been said, things that
Hmm.
people should have known about, to come in and correct in a family that was living in this this madness of just a
Yeah.
repeat cycle. And we gotten away from actually telling our family members and telling people in general. Now we accept stuff at jobs, we accept stuff our leaders, we accept stuff, we just accept it. And then when it gets
Mhm.
on us as a powder keg, then everybody wants to say, "Oh, they exploded. What? It's about time." Well, if you'd have
Yeah.
talked about those things long before time, you
Yeah.
wouldn't have had a fuse.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
it's not easy. It is not
No,
easy.
it's
I've
not. We
I've
tell y'all it's
experienced.
work, but you got to do
Yeah,
it.
I
And let's
struggled
do it.
through
Like you go to them trainings,
It's
like
part
you
of
go
the
to them
process.
conferences, like you go to them job trainings to get a raise. After you go to those lines to get money, all of the stuff the government give you the contracts. We put in that work. If we want
it.
something, we put in that work. My daddy
Yeah.
used to tell me, if people want something, they'll do it.
Yeah.
You
Yes.
gotta want it. The
Yes.
same way you want other stuff, you gotta want it like You want to say something? I'm off my soapbox.
It is. It is work. It is work, and I love that, Charlene. You highlighted the fact of your family, right? The
Yes.
family. Sometimes that's what it is, and not questioning those things, and not bringing things to the forefront. But I like that you said that because those two things can be going on at the same time. I can be doing
Mhm.
my internal work because you would be surprised how much, I mean, not you, but just us, period, would be surprised how much when we pour into ourselves, right? And we
Yeah.
start doing that heavy lifting and internal work, how much things change outside of us. Because no matter what you think, people are looking. People are
Yeah.
looking. Your family members are looking. Your daddy, your mama, your sister, your kids, your husband, your wife. They're all looking. And so
Mhm.
sometimes we sit there and think, we look at our family members or we look at the people that are around us, our coworkers, whatever it may be, and we're like, oh gosh, why are they like this? Like, oh, this is, and you're talking about what they're doing wrong, and you're trying to now change them. So we're
Yeah.
bringing it to them and we're like, look, why are you doing this? I ain't like how
Yeah.
you do this, whatever it is. But yet we aren't fixing the things that are going on with us. We got fires that are burning inside of us. And honey, we're too busy putting out other people's fires. So doing those two things at the same time, because the more you work on yourself, the more you work and impact other people. Just like you said, it's a ripple effect. It's a domino effect. That's how it works. Once I handle my stuff, guess what? These other things will be handled as well. But I'm also in a better place when I am working on myself to now address you instead of, hey, I didn't like how you did this. You sat there and came up to me, and then you blah, 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 and I'm going off, and I'm not giving you enough time to talk. I'm not listening to you. I'm not hearing you. I'm not giving you the love that you need, even though you did something to me that I did not like. Instead, I'm approaching you, hey, the other day, I really didn't like what you said. I understand that you probably didn't mean it to be that way, but I didn't like it. So I just wanted to see, like, what place were you coming at? And then we're coming from a more understanding place because we've been understanding with ourselves. We've given love to ourselves. We've been compassionate to ourselves. So if you're not giving that to yourself, it's not going to go nowhere when you're trying to do it to somebody else. When we're trying to fix other things, it ain't going to do nothing but now bite you in the butt. And then you can be like, see, I knew they weren't going to be receptive to this. I knew they weren't. And then now you're going to take that into the next
You
thing that you
mad.
do. Yes, it's going to be. And that's how we repeat patterns. I'm just like, can we get out of this wheel that we're in? The wheel stops once you stop and look at yourself. What are you dealing with? Because a lot of times we sit there and things that are irking us about another person is because things are going on with you. These people, you got to understand, these people that we're seeing, the people that we're around are only reflections of us. So when there's something that's really getting under my skin that you're doing, now you got to start asking, why is it getting under my skin? What is it? What am I dealing with? What is this moment, and what is this person trying to teach me? Again, asking the right questions. What can I learn from this? And then once you ask the right questions, then let's address all this other stuff that's going on, whatever it may be. But it's just, it all starts within. It starts with just doing your work. But understanding, like I said, those two things can happen um, at the same time. So we can be
Mhm.
doing our work, and we can also be getting places with other people. So asking questions. I know my parents, they went down in period when you talk about, like, sorry, but when you talk about religion, and I was brought up in a Christian household. So things may have changed, and I hope so, but it was where we don't ask questions. We don't question things. We don't question why this happened. We don't question about the religion. We don't question about why we do certain things. We just do them. And so this we've got to understand as parents and as just people in general, when we just do and don't question anything, this transfers to other things. This is when you're cutting off the ends of the pot roast and you don't even know why you're doing it. That's not serving you. You need to know why you're doing certain things, and you're making that conscious decision to make that decision and do it. We've got to know. So asking those questions, asking pertinent questions, even if your family members are not for it, even if that's not something that you were taught to do and you were brought up to do, but asking those questions, and just like Mr. Carl said, not tiptoeing around.
Oh, I gotta take care of some business this Saturday, and it's gonna be some hard questions. I don't think they want me in the room, but I'm gonna be in the room.
The
Because I'm
hard
gonna be in the
questions
room.
are good. Good
Yeah, I'm gonna
question.
be in the room where it happens because a lot of times we spread over stuff like peanut butter. And it's a lot of. I remember when I was a kid eating crunchy peanut butter. That was my thing, and I used to spread over because I didn't want the peanuts to stick up out the peanut butter. I wanted it
Yeah,
to be smooth across the top. That's how we literally visually do problems when we get, and we do it so greatly with the people that we so called love. And I say so
yes,
called, not meaning that to play off of that, but we love these people, and we're not responsible enough to tell them the correctness, tell them how we feel, tell them the real, so to speak.
yeah,
And these are a lot of things that's keeping us in those bounds of that. But we got an opportunity, and that's always great. And like
to
you said,
change.
you really picked that up very well at the end there. You talked about the parents, and I was a why baby. So I consciously stayed in trouble for asking why, because I grew up in a Christian household, and I said God ain't like this. Nah, I just like, come on, come on. I had to do some reading myself, and the Bible tell you study to show like self-approved, right? So I had to do some reading my own self. It's like God ain't say nothing about me not going to no movie. God ain't say
Yeah,
nothing about me not going to the pool, to
yep,
the beach.
Oh
God ain't say
yep,
nothing
yeah.
about me wearing no bathing
yep,
suit. I was like, all
yep,
this
That
other
that's
stuff
why I'm a
I grew up
recovering
with.
Christian
Yeah,
because
I
there's
grew up
been a
with
lot
that
of
stuff.
yes,
foolishness I couldn't do.
yes,
Yeah. They went through all of
yes,
that stuff, and
yep,
mom and daddy was with strictly with that stuff. And I had two grandparents, and both of them was pastors. So I
yep,
caught it coming in. I had to sneak in the
yep.
house. I left my room window open so I could sneak back in. Yeah, I done it all. Y'all done it. Don't be laughing. I know y'all did it.
Yeah.
I,
But
Oh no,
we had to
I
do
know.
those things because it was put to us
I'm scared.
in that space. Well, maybe y'all didn't do it. I was kind of rough little kid in Chicago, so that's how I did.
Okay. I'm a scared child in Miami, Florida. Where am I running to? I'm sorry, we need cars. That was one thing. As a Torian, I like comfort, so I was not pushing my luck too far.
I was a wild baby. I
I
pushed
knew my
everything.
boundaries.
I
I knew
pushed
my
everything.
boundaries.
No,
Yeah.
I pushed that.
I was
I
like,
pushed
oh, don't
everything.
ask me. I'm
It
questioning. I'm
I'll
yeah.
don't
question,
do this.
but then
I'm
I
doing
know
it.
dinner's time is soon. So let me limit my questions because the sister got to eat. I know my boundaries. I like a soft, comfortable
Uh-uh.
bed and a roof. I know
Oh
my
man,
boundaries.
y'all too much. Y'all too
I'm
much.
just saying.
I'm pushing
but
all the
but
limits.
yes, but with that we joking on that, but not really.
Yeah.
Because even with Emu and Shannon, they were saying, they were piggybacking off of a lot of what we said, and
Mhm.
before we wrapped up, I just wanted to touch on their comments that they, with them doing that internal work as well, and others not really falling in line with that, they realize that some people can't go with them to the next level, and that's true. And I
Right.
learned that a couple of years ago, and I was ready, I was prepped. And my thing is, I never was one to say, let me make an announcement, because a couple of years ago people would be on social media, oh, there's people, I'm gonna cut out my life, and child, I don't make announcements, I just make it happen.
That's
I just
correct.
make it happen. So I just wanted to say yes, you, Shannon, yes, though that's gonna be what happens when you are doing that internal work, and then you're
Mhm.
starting to let other people see you grow and do different. Then they too learn to start pulling away. So sometimes you don't even have to do anything, and that's always the beauty of it. So believing bigger is more than just a financial aspect. It's more of,
Absolutely.
how can you get yourself to the next level in your life to live the way you want to live. And like Christina said when we opened up, she was asking adults as a child, why aren't you doing what you want to do? And
Yeah.
now is the time that, through this conversation, I hope you all have had ways to think about that. How can you live the life you want to live?
Mhm.
Pre-pandemic, most of us felt like we didn't have a choice. Then we went through a moment together And now it's post pandemic for the most part. So now, how are we going to take what we've learned and start to live the life we want? Do bigger things, believe bigger, and allow those beliefs that even when maybe we were younger, we wanted to do something, start tapping into that again and seeing, can that be something that you can do? Yes.
Yes, and
That
being powered by that consistency. I think that
we
a
gotta
lot of
address
times we fall off in that. I think that is real true, and I think that's even religious based. That's a lot of that in there as well. Even how I feel as a Christian is that your walk is your power. A lot of times we neglect the fact that when people don't see, yeah, we got these obviously great products, so we say we serve, we got these great services that we want to provide. If people are not seeing consistency in what you are saying and doing, because I know my grandma used to say that all the time to me as a little kid. She's like, boy, your mouth can tell people a whole lot of things, but your work tell people the real thing. And I used to like, wow, there's like, I think of it now. I just said it again. That's pretty deep. Your mouth does. Your mouth runs entirely all the time, saying all kind of things. But your
yeah,
actions is what people are really looking at to see if it match. And when you're not consistent in that, you say you can give me seven figures and six steps for 7 figures. And I'm seeing you still driving a pacer. I mean, your mouth ain't telling me what your actions should be. And that's, I mean, I use that funnily, but I'm saying in a lot of times that's how we figure we should do with other people. We should address them as stuff we see that's in there. The beam, ooh, the Bible say the beam in your eye. And you
right,
run around trying to tell somebody get a twig out of theirs, but you got a whole
right,
beam. So that
right.
means that your problem is something that needs to be addressed first before someone will even feel power from what you're saying to address them. I can't
Yeah,
tell you to live your life and be consistent and you see me raggedy.
yeah,
It's like a coach there talking about something. I'm gonna help you lose weight, and he 400 pounds, stomach laying all
yeah,
the way in his
Raggedy.
belly. You gonna help me
All the
lose
way
what?
raggedy.
You help me lose a
Straight raggedy.
cupcake? You gonna help me lose a
yeah,
Twinkie? You ain't gonna help me lose no weight.
yeah. I want to before we
Yes,
leave.
Christina.
I know we're wrapping it up. I
Yes.
want to address Mr. Christopher, his
Yeah,
question.
Yes.
I
Christopher.
mean, well,
Yeah,
not his
Christopher.
question, his remark,
Go ahead.
because
Go ahead.
this is going to be something, right? So, Christopher, you know we brother and sister, right? Okay, and he got the same name as my brother, so you know I know. But
You
I
about to get
want
it,
to
Chris.
highlight, huh?
I say Chris about to get it. Pay attention, Chris. You about to get it.
No, I want to highlight this because I ask, but never forget the power dynamic in the family and job. Play if you want with those questions, right? And I want to highlight this because right here, did I say I didn't say anything about how it would be approached, how I would be doing. It's just questions, asking questions, and see that right there is a program. And that's why I'm like, it's so deeply embedded sometimes in us that, oh, questions, that is now me going back and bucking at my parents and bucking at the job. And then now I've got to stay in my lane and I got to stay in my place so I can't question authority. No, yes, you can. I have always been the one, but Charlie, I am the most respectful of them all. But I am very firm in where I stand. And I don't care. And I've done this in college. I had a full scholarship to run track. My coach did something that I did not appreciate. Guess what happened? I pulled her to the side, not in front of anybody. I said, you know what? Can I talk to you for a second after we finish? All right, cool. I called her to the side and we had a heart to heart. We had a talk. I'm like, look, what you did, I didn't really appreciate that. I don't like people that are, I don't like the way that you came at me. I respect you and I expect that same respect from you. And I would really grow in this opportunity if you did this, and we had this conversation. And she was taken aback, like, hold up, who are you? Like you coming up to me and you're telling me what you don't like. But even in the after that, honey, our relationship was like this. I became the captain of the track team. I became like it was different places that I was elevated because I had the audacity to now question something that she did. And I did that with my last boss too. I mean, she had my job. She had my job. but she did something that I did not like and I did not want it to continue. So I did the same thing. Hey, can we meet for a second after you got everything, after work or whatever it is, wherever is a place that's comfortable for you, because I really want to have a talk with you. And that's what we did. Some people will not be receptive to it, and that's okay. But you have got to honor yourself. You have to honor that's how you show respect to yourself. That's how you show love to yourself, by saying, hey, ooh, this didn't, I don't, mm-mm. What you're not, what's in this is how I'm talking to myself, right? Because I don't say this to them. But what people are not going to do is just walk all over you. What people are not going to do is just have you doing things and you don't even know why you're doing it. What people are not going to do is call you out your name. What people are not going to do is make you feel like you are less than. So when that stuff happens, you have got to put your foot down and say, no, not me. I don't care what I'm doing in the job. I don't care how much money I'm making or not making. You're not going to treat me like anything. You're not going to talk to me like this. If you guaranteed me a promotion and you didn't come through with it, I am going to question that. If I'm seeing somebody else that's making more money and I have more qualifications and I have things, I'm going to question that. These are questions are not bad. And I encourage my kids to do the same thing for me. I've done that with my parents, but it took a little while until I started living in these programs and living in these belief systems that did not serve me. And I dialed it back and I realized it came from, wait a minute, from y'all. Okay, so let me sit down with y'all. Why did this happen? Why did you do this? Why did you? Those questions allowed me now to see deeper and then also to have more compassion for them, right? That's what happens. So when my kids, if I do something, honey, I want them to put right then. Don't wait until you in your 30s and you already going through this and you got a whole family of your own. Do it now. Tell me, look, mommy, I didn't like that you did that. I didn't like that. Hurt my feelings. Oh, I'm so sorry. Our parents, that is not something that they want to do. But a lot of them have programs too that they're running and operating from. And I had to realize that in talking to my parents, it's like, oh, that y'all didn't mean to do that. It was something that you were going through and you didn't know how to navigate through it. And I know how your parents handle it. And that's how you handled it with me. Oh, I get it now. So it stops with me. Now it stops. So now when my kids come to me and it's something, oh, honey, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. My mommy didn't mean that. I'm sorry. What can I do now to not make you feel that way going forward? So questions are necessary. Questions are imperative, and questions doesn't mean that you are bucking at authority. So that's all I wanted to say. So that's my
Yes.
All
Yes,
right,
because
Chris,
I was
you
definitely
okay,
saying,
Chris? You all right, Chris? You all right, Chris? You all right?
yes, I wasn't there. This is what
yes.
I'm doing. We all having conversation. This is conversation. Conversation can be had. This is the effective
Absolutely.
communication. In your marriage,
Yes.
this is the same thing. We are not always going to see eye to eye, but we can have these conversations. You
True.
said something I don't agree with, but now I'm saying, okay, cool. I understand why you said that. So now let me say my piece. And then now we can come to, oh, okay, I see you. And then we can come to something. This is it. It's no one side fits all. That's not how life is. So it just is. We can learn from every person, everybody. It doesn't matter what they look like. It doesn't matter what spiritual background they are. You can always learn from other people. And I want us to end this of just being open. When we're talking about a growth mindset, you got to be open-minded. You have to be open and receptive to other people who do not hold the same values as you. But understanding that just because they don't hold those same values does not mean that I can't gain something from them, and vice versa. So I'm going to still hold conversations with you. I'm still going to speak my piece. I can still sit down and I can still chop it up with you. We can still have that effective communication. And I can leave better than where I came. And that's just all what about growth.
Yeah. So let's just say that we already been told confirmation that we will be having a part two. So with that, I definitely want to make sure that folks connect with Christina on
Yes.
LinkedIn, Christina Thomas ESQ on LinkedIn. Connect with her, hook up with her on there so you can see more about her, because I want to bring you back on to definitely talk about your 6 a.m. Show that Carl is talking about.
Yes.
I'm gonna try and stick 2 matchsticks in my eyeballs
Oh my
and
God.
get on LinkedIn.
I
I'm
know.
gonna
Oh
try.
my God.
I'm
I
gonna try
know. I know. It's early.
because I
I
know
know.
I'm gonna try.
Yeah.
But also, you're also on Amazon, so I want folks to go over there. Her link, you
Yes.
can get to her link, her Amazon link, because y'all know Amazon links are crazy. But we simplified it for y'all. You can head on over to realtalklivepodcast.com/Christina Amazon, and you can catch her on Amazon and buy something from her. Hello, go
Yes.
learn from
Hello.
her.
Hello.
Go
Yeah.
learn from her.
Yes.
And Carl, what's your last word as we kick
Yo,
out?
yeah, I'm just overjoyed. You know, I love having church and I ain't in the building. Because church, you take church with you. That's what it's all about. That's
No.
you just proved my point to all of older pastors that I be dealing with all the time. You don't have to be in these 4 walls to have that church. You take that
No.
spirit with you. Jesus didn't walk around with no church on his back. He carried
Yes.
the church with him. So in essence of that, we got to learn how to impact people where they are, doing the
Yes.
things they're doing, and be that positive light where they can see. And you shining bright, girlfriend. The next time I come up in that upper Maryland way, I'm gonna come holler at you. I'm gonna come
All
holler at you.
right
You're gonna be
now.
surprised. I'm gonna hit you up. I'm gonna be like, yo, I'm in the state. I don't know where you at, but I'm in the
What
state.
I say? What I say?
Don't give me that look that said it.
Until he give you a street number and a building,
Yeah,
we gonna
exactly.
wait. We gonna wait.
Exactly.
No, so we love what you brought today. We love what you're doing. Keep shining. You definitely got a friend in me, indeed, and then Charlene as well. I could speak for her. We definitely glad we brought you on the show. We got to do part 2 because you bring so much joy. And thank everybody that hit us up in there. We
Yes.
reached over 100 messages again. You guys are phenomenal. All over. You see, we global. We got people. Giannis, we're gonna take you up on that Greece, man. I got too much comments. I got DMs about when y'all going to Greece. So we
Yes.
want
It needs to be a trip. It
yeah,
needs
we're
to,
gonna have to
let's
do
just get it
something.
together. Come
Let's
on
get it
now.
together. Let's do the trip, road trip.
Live studio audience. Yay!
Pick
Yes.
our studio. Yo, we have to get in touch with Oprah. Be like, you get a trip, you got a trip, you get a trip.
Yeah.
We got to do. We're gonna have
Oh,
to do
if
something.
she forking it over, yes, yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
seriously. I'm gonna have to make some phone calls. Her and Tyler. I'm gonna have to write them a sad story, tell them what we trying to do. Him and
Oh
Tyler.
Yeah.
Lord. But I wanted to, as we close out, make sure that you
Yes,
guys catch Carl and I. We're doing our mini series,
absolutely.
and we'll
Tomorrow.
be part 5 tomorrow.
Yes.
I
We
can't
got an
believe it's
extra
April
Friday. We got an
29th. Good
extra
Lord.
Friday. Yes.
This is our Q&A for credible vulnerability moments. All the questions that you guys have been coming at us with, ask us again live, and we're going to also answer those who came earlier. But make sure that you hit us up, because that's going to be your day.
Yeah.
Tomorrow's your day. You
Yeah.
tell us, what do you want us to talk about, and what do you want to hear from us, especially about how can you take vulnerability as a strategy. And I don't want you to hear me say that and think, oh no, it's not. It is a strategy. There's a strategy to
Yes.
how to use vulnerability
Essentially.
and be
Yes.
intentional about being vulnerable, and being vulnerable not just to make money, but how can you be
Mhm.
vulnerable to make
Impact.
real connections and impact? Exactly. So
Yes.
that's
True.
a great time for y'all to hit us up with questions. So make sure tomorrow, Friday, April 29th, 9 a.m. Eastern. Yes. I'm going to
Yes.
try and go to bed early today. But yes.
Yeah.
Because you see it in
Yeah.
my eyeballs. I'm like, ooh, child, 9.
Yeah. Oh,
Okay.
you gotta get up. You gotta get up out that bed, bro. You can't make nothing. You
9 on
can't
a
do nothing in that
Friday.
bed.
Yes. But see, it's a good thing, because then we can shut the show down and jump on the plane to Greece. And see, we planning ahead. We
Yeah.
planning
We had
ahead.
to get that grease. I had to get that grease. Christina,
So
thank
I
you
can,
so much. Thank you so
Of
yes,
much.
course.
We
thank
It's
appreciate
my
you.
you.
pleasure.
Appreciate you coming by. And we anything that we could do to support anything that you got going on, we definitely 100% behind that, because you make an impact, you make a difference, and if nothing else, you're having people to believe bigger. And that
Yes.
bigger, I think, if anybody watched today and those who watch the replay, you got your definition of what believing bigger is. It's bigger than you being the first one in your family to go to college, to be the first one to buy your mama a house. I think those are all some things we all would love to do as children, right? We saw our parents struggle, but it's bigger than that. And you can be bigger than that. Imagine the impact you can make. Believe yourself to be somebody like a king or a Barack or someone. I'm just using those names in general. They've
Yes.
made impact that was larger than them.
Yes.
And that's what believing bigger is for me.
Yes.
Yeah.
See
So
y'all.
till next time. Bye, y'all.
Yeah. Bye-bye.
Talk with Carl and Charlene. Real talk for the real world. Let's get it.